This is Tuomas from Wolfheart. Before the dawn of Solis, Blacks and Eon, Rota Cielo, Final Harvest, and I guess a few others still. And you are watching the RichardMetalFan.
Hey, what's up, guys? Episode 230 of Richard Metal Fan Interviews, calling from Zoom, and I have round three with Tuomas from Before the Dawn and Wolfheart. Great to be able to talk with you again, man. Thanks for coming back on.
It's my pleasure again.
And anytime, man, anytime. So we have the new EP from Before the Dawn, Archaic Flame, which comes out March 8th through Napalm Records. Do you want to talk to me about how the idea to come of this EP came to be and all that good stuff?
Yeah, it was never like on the planning board last year, but things have started to happen. Like when we got the album done in the beginning of 2023, we just wanted to see how things are going to go. We didn't have much like expectations or plans. We just wanted to set the ball rolling, and then things started to happen. We got really good festival season in Finland. We got a really successful tour in Finland. We did a good European tour. We got the offer to play in 70 tons, which is always like a bucket list thing for any band. And we had a lot of offers for this summer also from Finland and Europe. So we just wanted to keep pushing with the music also. And it was just the excitement inside the band has been growing as we've seen things happening. So we were too excited to stop writing new music. And luckily, Napalm was okay with the plan of doing the EP this close for the album release.
Awesome. And with this EP, is this something to like hold fans over for till we get the follow up to Stormbringers, or is this just like a one-off thing and this is kind of like separate from that?
We didn't plan it that far even. We just when we came back from the European tour, we did like almost 40 shows all together in Finland and Europe. We just wanted to go back to studio. We had some cool song ideas already, and we just wanted to get those songs out. So we don't have any plans, or we haven't been talking about the next album or anything. But yeah, like I said, we were just too excited not to go back to studio, even though schedule-wise it didn't make the most sense to release something new this fast after the album. But then again, we've been waiting for 10 years to make new music. So
Right. Right. And tell me about like the making of like the title track, Archaic Flame, because I heard it and I was like, wow, this is actually a really good song. So how did that song come to be?
it's same with the both new songs on the EP. It's just the yeah, we didn't do anything together for a decade, and suddenly we are touring and playing festivals and tours together. So yeah, it was just the we could even do a full album now. It's just it's hard to explain, but when you get this certain flame going on inside the band, it's just good things just happen on their own. It's just like you are just like the riding the wave, so to speak. So I don't have any story about the writing the song, because it's just popped up right after the tour, and I made the demo and played it to the guys, and everybody was like, "This sounds really good. Let's do something with the new stuff," and that's why we want to do the EP.
Awesome. And I know I saw on the EP you're going to be doing a cover of Bryan Adams' Run to You, which that'd be one artist I would not expect for you all to cover. So what made you guys decide to do a cover of that song?
We let Paavo, the new vocalist, to choose the cover song. Like, he made a list of songs he would like to do as a vocalist, and then we decided from those. And there was a lot of like this type of songs only. Like, we didn't want to do a typical metal cover song. We wanted to choose a song that would be surprising for the fans and would be equally interesting for us to do a metal version. And by an accident, to me it sounds very much like Typo Negative doing a cover of Bryan Adams. But I'm super happy about the results.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I saw, yeah, because I'm really looking forward to hearing that version, and then of course being this is now the second release with Pablo on vocals. How do you feel about him now? Sort of like now being like the second release, like feel like more comfortable.
Yeah, it's already, it was super easy already on the album, but of course now that we've been playing so many shows and just in general, like spending more time together, traveling and having these adventures, it makes all the work also in the studio so much easier, because we didn't really know when we did the Stormbringers, we didn't really know, is there going to be a chemistry between us, because you need certain amount of kilometers and hours together to really know somebody, and now it's just super easy to work with him, and it's been also great to see how he's been developing himself as becoming a strong frontman, and he's more like bold with presenting his own ideas for the songs. So he has a lot stronger input on the music also. So I think he has stepped up really well.
Yeah, and I know you also have a new member in the band, Saku, who playing the keyboard. So how did Saku end up joining Before the Dawn?
Well, he's not really a member. Saku is my trusted sound engineer. He's been recording latest two Dawn of Solace albums and mixed those. He recorded and mixed the previous Wolfheart album. So he's like my main guy to do keyboards on any of my albums nowadays. So he's not a member, but he does the keyboards in Before the Dawn albums, and in the future Wolfheart album also, and same to Dawn of Solace. So he's my like my secret member in every band that I have at the moment.
That's fair. And I know you all recently played the 70,000 Tons of Metal, and I was there, but I sadly had missed both of y'all sets because I couldn't like stay awake. So, and I'm still kicking myself for that. So, how was that experience like playing on the boat?
Well, it was my second time on the boat, so I knew quite well what I was expecting. Same with Juho. He has been there with Swallow the Sun before, but for Paavo and Pyry, it's the first time experience, and yeah, it is very much like a bucket list kind of event as a metal musician to be able to play there. And we got to play on the pool deck on the first time, which was really cool. But we played 5 o'clock in the morning, so
Yeah,
that was,
I couldn't even try to get up. I tried to. I was too tired. I'm not used to staying up long periods.
yeah, that was like it wasn't that, but Wolfheart was the final band on the fourth day. So I missed 2 nights completely, because we went to the Dominican, we went to the shore on
Yeah.
the third morning, so I didn't get to sleep at all. Of course, I was back in my cabin at like 7 in the morning, and same thing with the last show with Wolfheart. So I had the worst jet lag ever when I came back to Finland, just because of
Oh,
the
wow.
show times. But it was super cool. We played like 5 o'clock in the morning, which should be impossible hour, and there shouldn't be anybody, but we still had a really good audience, and really active and loud audience. So that was these kind of things could only happen on the boats.
Agreed. Agreed. Especially seeing like a lot of bucket list bands, because I don't think some of these bands will probably never come to America. Because I remember finally get to see Equilibrium, Blind Guardian, Sodom. Like I feel like 70,000 Tons, because that was my first time ever being on the cruise. It was definitely a really good life-changing experience, and I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and it's a really like a, from our perspective, for Before the Dawn, like for us it would be quite complicated to have a North American tour at the moment, because soon me and Juho are going to be busy, me with Wolfheart and he with Swallow the Sun. Also the visas and all that complications for a smaller band can be a huge obstacle, with since the boat, all the gigs are in the international waters, so you don't need a visa. So it's so good for European bands to come there and do this kind of special shows, like Saddam played there, like the Agent Orange and stuff like that, like very special shows. So I think it's really nice thing to have that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's always like this second time in the boat, so now I know really well what to expect from the third one. But around third day, I start to get really claustrophobic because, you know, it feels like I'm trapped on a Titanic with
Yeah. Well,
with
you're literally on a boat.
yeah, and like even when you like, I like metal music, I like metal audience, I like playing shows, but it's very intense experience. Like even in the elevator, you hear Slayer like blasting on the speakers, so you are like trapped in this metal bubble for the 4 days. So that can be a little bit heavy also.
Yeah. Plus, yeah, totally. And I remember can get a little bit homesick, but good thing like that homesickness sort of gets on before, right near the very end of the
Yeah,
of the adventure.
yeah, it's just like in the end you are happy to go home also, even though you appreciate and cherish the experience. But yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to, like, if there would be a week-long Caribbean cruise, I don't know how much money they would need to pay me for me to be able to be 1 week on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and kind of wanted to switch topics because I do want to talk about a special anniversary because this year does mark the 20-year anniversary of the album 4:17 a.m. So what I want to ask is what's sort of like the thought process going into making that album? Because I feel like that's sort of like a natural evolution in the Before the Dawn album. I feel like that's something that we could expect on like other albums, like from the Ghost to Death Star Rising to Stormbringers, even the new EP Archaic Flame.
So that's a interesting question because, like, yeah, you just said it's 20 years ago, so that was a completely different me writing the songs. So there's not that much that I remember anymore about that. But this was my second album altogether as a songwriter and as a band to work with. So it was just like a 99% of super excitement and just 1% of thinking what we are actually doing, because you know you are young. We were just 20 years old. We have money from a label. We get to go to a real studio. It's just it's what only thing that I can say, the thought process is completely different than nowadays. Like now I'm a lot more rational and plan things a lot more, do like different level of the production, pre-production, and stuff like that. And we do the scheduling differently, and we think things like 1 or 2 years ahead with the touring cycles and festivals and scheduling. 20 years ago, you just went to the studio and had fun and were super happy that somebody is actually allowing you to make an album.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Agree. Because you definitely have like that same mindset. You're not like who you were back in like 2004 or when 4:17 a.m. was released.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of wanted to switch topics again because going into Wolfheart, because I know last September you released a little single called Iku Torso. So tell me about like that song. Is that like something thing to hold fans over for the follow-up to King of the North, or was that just like something left over from the King of the North sessions?
Uh, I never have leftovers. I always write like a full album, and when the album is done, then I just stop writing. Like I know a lot of bands that they might write like 20 songs, and then they pick the 12 best ones for the album. But I only do the album, and then I'm done. But the story was a leftover because it was about the Finnish mythology, and this was like the one mythical sea monster or a demigod but that didn't fit for the album in general. But that was like a story I wanted to tell because it has quite a big role in the Finnish mythology, and we don't have like this demon kind of creatures that many anyway. But I think because it was so malevolent creature in the mythology, it didn't really fit the theme of the full album. But the song was completely new, and we just wanted to have a short follow-up before we did the first Europe headlining tour. And
Yeah.
that was like that when you do the first headlining tour, it doesn't matter if it's North America or Europe. It's kind of like you make it or break it. So we just wanted to put the band back on the headlights for a while with the new single that was still connected with the previous album just before the tour took place.
Right. Right. And what is like the status with the next Wolfheart album? Have you started like ideas for it yet, or what's the status with that?
I write all the songs already. I have all the demos for the songs done. We are just like thinking about the schedules and the long-term plan when it makes more sense to go to the studio, and how does the touring scene in general look like, what would be the best time for things to happen. But the song writing is already done.
All right. Is there like a tentative release date for the album?
No.
All right. And kind of wanted to talk about another anniversary because, you know, last year was, of course, 10 years of the first Wolfheart album, Winterborn. I thought was a great album, but next year will also be 10 years of the second album, Shadow World. So what was like that thought process going from Winterborn into Shadow World?
Well, yeah, at that time it was, I think I've done, I'm not sure how many albums I've done, like 22 or 23 at the moment. But when Wolfheart started, then I already like had a lot more professional approach in general than you mentioned the 4:17 a.m., where there was not much thinking involved or anything. But of course, at that time, 2004, Before the Dawn wasn't touring like in the meaning of the term. We didn't do any European tours or anything. So with Wolfheart, things were already in a different shape. And when I started writing for the Shadow World, it was a lot of things changed already in Wolfheart. We had a deal with Universal and Spine Farm. The debut album Winterborn was self-released. I did everything on that release. I did the promo, I had the distribution, I printed the albums myself. So that was really like as a flying solo. And on the Shadow World, there was a huge label. There was a lot of expectations. There was already like European tours on the talks, European festivals on the talks. So Winterborn was just like being on a holiday. And with Shadow World, I went back to the actual job of like building a band and starting to make a career out of it. So it was a really different mindset between those two albums.
Right, right. And did you ever notice like difference like working alone versus like having like musicians playing with you?
Um, I love both. I love both. Like I that's why I have Dawn of Solace at the moment. I just love the idea that I can go to studio with drumsticks and guitar and just get the whole album done the way I want to do it. But at the same time, the I only have certain amount of hours in my day, sadly. So I can do everything on my own. Like I would never be able to play the stuff that Jonas is playing with the drums, for example. So having a band with Wolfheart, with amazing guitar playing with Vagelis, the vocals from Lauri and Vagelis, the drumming from Jonas, that allows me to write so much more complex and different stuff. So I equally love both, working with the band or working on my own.
Yeah. And with playing like some of the songs from like Winterborn live with the other musicians, does that maybe in a way kind of like change a feel because they're like adding like their own little like spin to the songs, or did you try to like keep it true to how it was on that album?
It's everybody, like we have also a lot of session members in Wolf, and I always encourage everybody who plays in Wolfheart to add something on their own, because it's a different song that you have on the album. It's a different, like I want to have a fresh version when we play live. And I think the most stupid thing would be that I force somebody to just copy paste what I've done 10 years ago in the studio, because you can do so much more cool stuff there. And that just makes things a lot more fresh and interesting to me also.
Totally. And I think I might have asked this before, but with playing with like Wolfheart and Before the Dawn, because of course, with Wolfheart, you're sort of like the main front man, and then of course with Before the Dawn, you're playing drums, but then of course, obviously, before then you were the front man. So is there like a different kind of like mind frame frame depending on like the roles, like differences being like just the drummer in one band and then being the front man in the other?
It to me it's a huge difference. I'm very comfortable with the setup with Wolfheart, me being in the front, but I wouldn't want to have any other band with me as a front man. That would be just too much. Like I enjoy what I do with Wolfheart, but I don't particularly enjoy being on the spotlight in general. So with being a drummer in For the Dawn, it's so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And it's of course it's a different instrument, so I have a completely different like approach and mindset also when it comes to the playing itself. And so yeah, it's completely two different worlds, and I really like it's like that because I this is the most I've been playing as a drummer when it comes to live shows and studio past 2 years, and it's been so much more fun to be
Yeah.
able to divide like and balance between the guitar and the drums.
Yeah. And are you able to like express yourself like differently creatively with drums as opposed to like playing guitar?
Mm, I do get like it's I don't think I express myself differently, but you hear the music differently when you're a drummer versus you're a guitar. I think I'm a lot more like inside the music, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like being the backbone of the band, and then you hear differently the bass and the vocals and the guitars around you. But when you play guitar, you are mainly like, at least for me, I'm mainly focusing on my own playing, the kick drum and the vocals, and rest is just a bonus. But as a drummer, I see and hear everything just building like layer by layer in front of me, and yeah, the I hear and see the music differently. I don't think it affects how I like express myself, but I have a different point of view for the whole thing.
Thing. Yeah, totally. And kind of like I wanted to also curious is like your drum gear and setup, because I've seen like the live videos from the cruise, and you definitely have like a simple setup. So I'm always curious about like your drum setup with Before the Dawn.
Well, it is super simple. It's very much like Jonas has in Wolfheart. I just have few symbols less. We did the Finnish tour and the European tour with both bands on both tours. So me and Jonas played like every night with the same drum kit. We actually even bought one drum set for both of us that we can use on the tours.
Wow.
So we have very similar setup, and being playing so many festivals and flying shows all around the world, you learn quite quickly like which setup is the easiest and quickest also to build in a very short notice with the different gear and different hardware. And it's yeah, it's a
Yeah.
combination of what I like to have and what makes my life also easy on the road.
Yeah. And with Wolfheart, because I see you have like some really sick guitars. I'm always curious about like your rig setup with Wolfheart.
But that's a very simple setup. Also, of course, that's based on because now we are every year it seems we are traveling more and more. Now we are heading to Australia in 1 month, then we're going to do East European tour. Then there's some other tours and festivals coming up. So I used to love. I was very like what is the word? I always prefer like tube amps. I'm very old school. If I could choose, I would always have a cabinet and an amp. But of course, as a traveling musician, that doesn't really work out well at all. Also, the rental cost of the backline nowadays in both Europe and North America is insane. Like you pay thousands of dollars or euros just to have an amp and a cabinet. That doesn't make any sense. So my current setup is my guitar, cable, and one pedal.
Yeah, just gotta keep it simple. No
Yeah, because
like million pedals at once.
yeah, and thing is like I play rhythm guitar, so I only need one solid sound. I just need my sound. I don't need to switch that sound on and off at all. And I like, yeah, it's I don't even have a tuner anymore. I have this clip-on tuner which I use between the songs if I need, but I can just basically, it's just my whole rig fits into pocket of my jacket.
Nice. Nice. Just keep it simple. Nothing, no more unnecessary things that you don't need. You just get
Yeah,
to the point, no bullshit.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so kind of like in the end to wrap things up, what's next for Wolfheart and Before the Dawn? Because I know you've have that of course have the new EP out coming soon, and then of course that new song with Wolfheart. So what's next for both of your bands?
Well, there's a lot of things happening at the moment, and I've been spending a lot of time in the studio, which I'm gonna do in the very near future, but I can't say anything yet. But it's gonna be one of the busiest years for me when it comes to releasing albums and playing tours.
Yeah.
That's I can't. That's the most specific I can say today.
Yeah, yeah, because I am looking forward to some new music for both of your bands because I love Wolfheart, I love Before the Dawn. I would definitely need to see you all again eventually.
Well, there will be a lot of things coming up. That's all I can say. That's
Yeah,
all I'm allowed to say at the moment.
yeah. You'll tell me when I turn off the recorder.
I can do that, yes.
Yeah,
But that's just gonna be between me and you at the moment. But
my lips are sealed.
yeah,
Yeah,
like publicly, that's the answer I'm allowed to say at the moment.
yeah, yeah. I'm not. Don't worry. Your secret will be safe with me if I won't let it leak.
That's good.
Yeah, otherwise you'll kick my ass.
Probably yes.
So thank you, Tuomas, for this great conversation. It's always great to talk with you and have you on my show. It's just any final words you want to say to the viewers that are watching this to close this out?
Watch out the news. There's gonna be a lot of updates from my direction very soon.
Awesome. So everybody, Tuomas from Wolfheart and Before the Dawn. See you next time.